What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I'm your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve. A lot to get into today on the back of the Fulham match coming up at 11:30, which we will be live for over on Tifo. Don't forget to go and create your account using the referral code Kyle in all caps. It's going across the bottom of your screen. Also, it's pinned at the top of the chat. But, guys, a lot of stuff happened this week. Liverpool knocked out of the Europa League, right? We'll talk a little bit about that. Some links with new players from the Portuguese league. Alex Varela, or Alan, excuse me, and Gyokeres from Sporting. So before we get into all that, let's say good morning to everyone. And Steve, how are you this morning, my man?
Better than I was last week. Start there.
You were rough last week.
Last week was not fun. And we lost shortly thereafter. So the next few days weren't fun. But now it's like, I put a message in our Discord chat either this morning or last night saying I kind of just feel bad for Klopp at this point. So we'll talk about some of that today. But as far as I go, I'm doing well. It's match day. It's always fun. We'll see what happens.
Hey, man, you just got to deal with it. For me, what's hardest is seeing the pictures up, seeing how Klopp just looks drained. He's just defeated.
Well, I think it's because we're losing. I don't think, like, overall he's leaving the club because he doesn't have the energy or whatever. But if we know anything about Jurgen Klopp, is that he's going to fight until the end. So I think when you see those images of him looking deflated and defeated, it's because we are defeated and he can't believe it. Just like as supporters, we can't either. But he's still got plenty of juice to finish us off for the year. There's no doubt. I just feel bad for him because this is not the send-off that he deserves. The players are not turning up at the right times. And they're letting him down. He's given everything to us.
A lot of themes with when he left Dortmund. A lot of similar themes. Like the last season there.
Yeah, so lately I've been feeling bad for Klopp. You can say what you want about the lineups he's putting out, especially in that first leg against Atalanta. But there's a lot of games. The games are fast and furious. They come fast and furious this time of year, especially when you're fighting on multiple fronts, which we're not anymore. But at the end of the day, I think it's just tough to see how we've fallen off here. And I feel bad for him mainly because of that, because the players are going to kick on. They're going to keep playing. They'll be here next year. I don't see us selling many players. They're going to get another chance at it. But this is it for Klopp. And say what you want about like his tactics or whatever. These games we should win. We should win these games. Regardless of what he does, regardless of if he's even in training the week before, these are all winnable games. And we're just coming up short over and over. So
wanted to give a shout out to Liz, officially a channel member for 40 months. Liz, thank you so much for your support. You know we appreciate it. And guys, for all of you here who show your support week to week, we really do appreciate it. And if you guys do want to support the channel, just showing up, liking, commenting, that's great as well. If you want to go above and beyond to show your appreciation, you can always donate via Super Chat or become a channel member, guys. Tons of perks to that as well. So thank you again, Liz, and all of you guys for being here. And Steve, on that front of like, the players will be here next year. What about now, though? Like, where's the desire and the burn for the rest of the season? Why has it just died the last 3 matches?
The only thing I think you can say is fatigue, because it's not like they don't have anything to play for.
Dude, it's not fatigue. It's like attitude. It's like, dude, I'm looking at I made this comparison last week, and then I saw something about it, like a little video comparison on Twitter as well, where like when things aren't going right, Verge will kind of throw his hands up and like kind of look annoyed. Whereas like if Hendo's on the pitch, he's like loud, vocal, keeping the tempo up. You know what I mean? We've talked about that countless times he's a tempo guy. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you have any thoughts on the fact that like when this team is struggling, when their heads are down, like is Verge not that guy to pick them back up?
I wouldn't say that at all. I think people in this sport, there's so much recency bias. People only care about what are you doing for me right now. And you could have Salah score 2 goals today and 2 goals next week. And then he's back in conversation for PFA Player of the Year and the Golden Boot and all this stuff. right? We go back top of the league. Things can change so fast. They can change in a matter of a week or two. But let's not forget that Virgil was unbelievable this season. Now, from a leadership standpoint, it's his first year as captain. There's been a lot of mistakes and, again, games that we should have won. So I'm not surprised to see him frustrated and throw his hands in the air because things are happening that shouldn't happen. That said, I don't think we miss Henderson at all, if I'm being honest. However, I do agree it can be a little frustrating to see Virgil's emotions at times, but he's been stellar all season. And players are allowed to make mistakes here and there. But I don't even know if it's so hard to pinpoint, hey, is this a lack of effort or are these guys just absolutely tired? And somebody said something in the chat here about how many minutes McAllister and Van Dijk have played. Aylor 909 says Alexis McAllister and Van Dijk have in under 3 weeks played 540 minutes or more or less 90 minutes every 3 days. That's too much. It is. It's a lot. As supporters, selfishly, I love to see them play more often because it's more games we get to watch, but it takes a toll on these guys. And they were fighting for all these trophies. I don't see, again, it's really hard to pinpoint, is this a lack of effort or are these guys just beat? You know, when you're fighting for trophies on all fronts, you're pretty much playing the same players over and over. With the exception of mix in Szoboszlai for Jones or vice versa, or maybe throw Harvey Elliott in a game here and there. And when you have injuries too, you don't really have many choices. With Jota out, it's always going to be, in Gakpo on shit form, it's always going to be Darwin, Salah.
Take it easy. Gakpo's had a few good games.
But when he was in crap form, and Jota was out, the front three picks itself. The midfield, again, maybe mix in something here or there, but Matip's out in the back and Trent was out. So the back line almost picked itself too. So these players are playing a lot. I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts that I have, but I don't know if it's necessarily just a lack of effort or lack of desire or drive. That's what it looks like on the screen. But of course, these guys want to win trophies.
Well, see, that's what I was getting at, right? Because you have the argument of injuries and playtime, right? And I've always been vocal about the players need more rest. They play too often, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think that's the problem right now. Because when you're fighting for trophies, adrenaline should just kick in. Like, your just competitive instinct should be there. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're tired, right? You hear coaches and motivational speakers and all this talk about this all the time. Like, when others are tired, right? The champions separate themselves from the average guys by being able to push through that and still play at the top level. We've shown we can do that before. So that's why, like you said, on the screen, especially against Atalanta, I'm watching that game, bro, and I was disgusted by what I was seeing. We couldn't get the ball past midfield. Literally could not pass the ball across the midfield line. And that's so uncharacteristic of us. And that's kind of what scares me, right? That doesn't, to me, seem like a bad day, right? That seems like a team that was just so ill-prepared, or no, not ill-prepared, because they were probably prepared, but a team that just lacks the mental fortitude to continue to play at the top level for whatever reason, whether it's Klopp leaving, whether it's, I can't see why a draw against Man United would cause this, but it seems like ever since that match, the team has no mental strength. Well, now maybe that'll turn around today, but
with the exception of the second half against Atalanta, we've had plenty of chances. Again, these are winnable games. We're just not clinical. So even if fatigue or the long season takes its toll a bit, we've still had enough chances to win these matches comfortably, and we haven't. Now, that second half was very discouraging. I agree. Look, they had a mountain to climb in that game. They went into Italy and they won 1-0. That's a standard result. Like, I'm okay with that any other day of the week. But the way they played in the second half, they literally got pinned back. I hadn't seen that. Even when we play teams like City, Madrid,
that's what
you
I'm
never
saying,
get
bro.
pinned back.
I've never seen that. That was insane.
It was, and credit to them. But the rest of these halves and matches, we've had plenty of chances to tuck things away. And we just haven't capitalized on them. So,
well,
maybe one chance in the second half, maybe two. But
It's still not
overall.
enough, dude, against Atalanta, and I agree with you, but you forget we won 1-0, you know? And that doesn't matter because it's on aggregate, obviously. So, let's go over to the chat real quick. Yogesh said, "You have to score the half chances." We haven't scored. I think I saw someone in here say that we haven't scored from open play in 365 minutes, which is it's kinda disgusting, dude, when you look at the kind of players we have, but, um you know, I'm not trying to be negative. These are just things you got to talk about. Like the team hasn't played well over the last 3 matches at all, you know. And then we got lucky with Villa losing, or excuse me, with Arsenal losing to Villa. That was a godsend. That was almost like a gift to us. Say, hey, look, you're allowed to have a crappy game or two, but you still have to step up, right? So who knows? Maybe the boys bounce back today. I'm seeing rumors of the fact that Darwin and Salah are both dropped today, dude. Both of them aren't playing. That's what I'm seeing rumors of.
That
And
would be interesting.
if that's the case, we might be at a point where Klopp is fed up with what he's seeing on the pitch too.
I'm sure he is.
Because there's no way he's resting them. There's no way he's resting them. You don't rest players when you're in a title race, I feel like. You play the best 11 you have available.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if they both. I guess with Jota back, maybe it's possible, or Elliott up there
Well,
on the
see,
right.
I would start Jota, Nunez, and Salah across the front line. That's who I'm starting today. But, you know, Max asked a question. This is a good question. Do you think Klopp announcing leaving in the middle of the season has affected them? What do you think about that, Steve? I find myself thinking about that as well.
I don't, not really. I think if anything, it's a motivator. But who knows? It's definitely possible. But they played well after that. They played great. Played great all year. And this
Up until
fall off has
recently.
just happened in the last 2 weeks. We knew Klopp was leaving for months,
Yeah.
but this has been the last 2 weeks.
It's just so weird. I mean, it's a good question, Max. I appreciate you addressing it. But you know, I don't think so. I really don't. I really don't think it has an effect. I feel like if anything, he did it out of the respect for the club, as opposed to the season ending and then him just dropping this bomb on him and then saying, "All right, there you go. Now you got to find someone." At least it gives the team time to prep and do their due diligence to research and negotiate and find the right player for the job, which also leads me into Twitter, which is a great place for a wealth of reliable information. And so we are being linked with Arne Slot. What a name, of Feyenoord. Apparently is the bookie's third favorite to become Liverpool manager, right? Let's see who else is in there. We got Ruben Amorim and De Zerbi. Why is De Zerbi in here, dude? I don't want De Zerbi. But that's what we got. That's who we're looking at. So Ruben Amorim might be the guy. Arne Slot, never heard of him. Somehow he made his way into the top three there, bro. Oh my God. Twitter is just crazy. But additionally, Steve, I wanted to bring up something, and we'll talk about some of the links with transfers as well. But there's a lot that has been going on with Man City, as we know, with 115 charges, right? But now there's some conflict of interest talks. Of course, there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on with them. But recently, specifically with the referees taking freelance work over in the Saudi Pro League. Specifically, it says here Michael Oliver, Darren England, Dan Cook, Stuart Burt. And what happened yesterday with Man City or Chelsea? I think it was yesterday. And I'll bring that up here. The free kick that was clearly a handball. Was it not? Am I in the wrong here? And people are raising questions like, are the refs, is this actually a just blatantly obvious case of the referees being in bed with Man City owners? And then as a result, throwing games. What do you think?
It's so sketchy. Look at his arm. Like, I feel like even if that doesn't hit your arm, like that deserves a look. Right? Did they look at it?
Oh, this is Dude, this isn't even the worst angle. The angle. Oh, bro, when you get the head-on angle, and I'll try to find it here in a minute, but when you get the head-on angle, Pochettino's angle, that one just kind of looks like it hits his arm and his arm's out. When you look at Pochettino's angle, have you seen it?
No.
Grealish literally drops his arm to block the ball. I'm gonna find it for you because your mind's gonna be blown. All right. But honestly, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? Are we just overanalyzing it? Are these guys just getting like work opportunities for huge paydays and taking it? Or do you actually think there's something behind it, like almost like I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of deal?
I'd be very surprised if that was the case. Because I just think it's rare that 4 referees would do that and not say anything. Like there's a whistleblower in there somewhere because there's so much heat on them already for the VAR stuff that's been going on and just the sketchy missed calls for the last couple seasons. That's with any sport and any group of referees. But I just feel like if those 4 guys are working over there, one of them would blow the whistle, or someone else that they tried to recruit that wasn't interested in being sketchy would have blown the whistle. I just think the chances are more slim that the case is something corrupt is going on, if I'm being honest. But I'm sure we'll find out at some point.
Honestly, you're probably right. You know, like the cynical side of me really wants to believe that there's something weird going on. But why are they not are they investigating it? Everton have gotten docked points twice this year, and Man City have yet to get docked points. What the hell's going on?
It's just taking way too long. Way too long.
All right. I know it's a little laggy, but I want to share this with you.
I also want to mention something else that I think a lot of us forget about. City were removed from the Champions League for 2 seasons at first. And then that was overturned, right?
Oh crap, I forgot about that. All right, this is the angle for you, bro. Look. Watch Grealish's arm. It literally comes down to block it.
Yep.
What the hell is that? How are they not going to call that?
It's so brutal. But yeah, City was banned from the Champions League and then got it overturned. I always forget about that part, but let us just float that out there so we all remember.
Yeah, float it. Float it.
Just float it out there. Yeah. That's what we're doing right now, Kyle. Yep. We're rowing with one paddle and spinning in circles.
You know what we're doing? We're like trying to teach a kid to do like crew. Like, you know, the backwards rowing, but the kid can't figure out how to do it properly, so they're just like slapping the water. I don't know, maybe you've never seen that. I've seen it. It's pretty hilarious.
I have not seen it. Oh, yeah, man. Oyvind says they had to pay 30 million instead of being banned.
Oh, 30 million. That's a drop in the fucking bucket, dude.
I know. But what do you do? Like,
what do you mean? What do you do?
Do you make it like 500 mil and then the next small club it happens to has no chance? You know, there's variables.
Well, all right, look, here's my thing. If you have financial fair play, right? It's not all on the same level, right? It's all based on revenue, right? So you take a proportion of what the team's revenue is, and you base the fine on that. So it's the same thing. You think?
That's probably what they did.
I don't know. 30 million seems like a pretty standard fine. I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. I don't know. It just maybe I'm just looking for reasons to hate this club, and that's why.
Well, they're out of the Champions League.
So is Arsenal. So that's good. That's a win, right?
Yep.
But now we still have to deal with this domestically, and Liverpool are just shit in the bed.
Yeah, we're not doing ourselves any favors.
No, exactly. And that's my point. We're putting it in the hands of another team, and now we're talking about referees and stuff. I feel like, just to be impartial for a second, you know, pointing out all these things that are going wrong with other I mean, clearly the handball thing and the freelance refereeing, that's stuff to talk about. But how about the fact that the team just needs to go out there and win games that they should win? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when we're talking about this other stuff, it's like, oh yeah, we do need to talk about that. At least that's the vibe I get. But when we start talking about our own team and the shortcomings of our own team, we're being negative. Does it come off as that way?
Mm,
Because I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to point out the fact that, we have one of the best sides in the world, and we're losing to Crystal Palace at home.
It's
What,
brutal.
like, it happens. But at this point in the league, at this point in the season,
I think standard dips in form happen. It's unfortunate that the timing is right in the middle of the title run-in. However, let us not forget we should have more points than we have right now. With that loss aside, with the Tottenham match, the Odegaard handball, right? All these different things.
oh, that's a big one for you.
The Doku high foot. That's a potential 6. I'm getting some echo here. I think from you maybe, but
For
that's a
me?
potential 6 to 9 more points. We'll call it, even if it was just 3, right? Whatever. So if you have these dips in form, when you have the amount of points that you should have, if there wasn't all of these awful calls, things don't look so bad. We're still top of the league. It's just unfortunate that we're playing against our own selves with our dips in form, the referees, and then other great teams that are doing their jobs. So there's a lot of things stacked against us right now, and it's unfortunate that ourselves is one of those factors. But
Right.
Kyle, what I was saying before you left is, if we had this dip in form, but we had the extra 6 to 9 points, it wouldn't matter as much, because we would be sitting comfortably up top. We'd be 6 points ahead, or whatever, at least 4 or 5. And then you lose one match, it really stinks, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt as bad, because people are going to move on from this season, especially supporters that don't support Liverpool, and they're not going to remember the Tottenham Diaz call. They're not going to remember the Doku high foot, the Odegaard dribbling the ball off the floor. They're not going to remember those things.
I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of them know, but the Diaz offside call will go down in Premier League folklore. It will. That is going to be an awful stain on the Pogmol or whatever the hell that organization is for the referees. That is definitely going to be there. I do want to go out and say that not a single one of you has signed up for Tifo today. So go over to Tifo right now. Create your account if you haven't already. We're doing all watch alongs over there, guys. Super easy. I'll even post the link for you guys in the chat to make it even easier. It's pinned at the top, I believe, as well. Liz is already over there ready to roll. Liz, I appreciate it very much. But copy and paste. Remember, the referral code that you guys will use is Kyle in all caps. All right. Guys, I do want to say something too. We have, of all the creators on Tifo right now, the highest retention rate. The highest retention rate of all the creators on the platform. Now, granted, there's only a handful right now because it is new, but we are in first right now, and that comes down to you guys. You guys have kept us at the top of the retention rate. So, one, thank you. Seriously. And it's by a long shot. We have a huge gap. So, one, let's keep that going. Two, let's keep adding members over there, guys. And three, let's keep the retention rate high. Let's just keep growing that community over there. I really think it's going to keep, the website is going to keep growing, and this community is going to keep going. Michael Ramsey, I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't expect it, buddy. But I appreciate you being here. That's all that matters. Michael with the principles. I think VAR should only be used for goal line tech. If they are going to be used for offside, why isn't it a rule that the whole body has to be in front or onside? Yeah, so I don't want to get too much into that because we're not really talking about that today. But Dermot, I get what you're saying. I really don't want to go down that rabbit hole. The VAR rabbit hole is so deep.
I think it should be used for what it's being used for now, just used correctly. The whole body instead of a toenail chin. They're thinking about that, and that may change at some point. But at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with the technology itself. It's human error that's making these mistakes. And I don't care if you have to stop the game for 10 minutes to just get it right. Also, there's been a lot of times where VAR has helped us too, right? Like if a
True.
player's offsides, I want it called against them if it's the opposing team. So the majority of the time they get it right. But it's the ones that they don't that, like, we don't forget about VAR decisions that go against us if we win the game. We don't remember those.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the game deciding decisions that we think about. Tottenham, for example. All of these other things. Like, if it's used correctly, it's wonderful because it brings a level of fairness to the game and removes an element of human error when the game's happening so fast. So I think VAR needs to be used as it's used now, just more effectively and correctly.
Well, yeah, of course. And what I will say, this is one thing that I want to praise VAR for a second, because last year and the year before, I believe, when they were manually doing the lines, I wanted to just literally just like pull my face off of my skull. It was so annoying that they would do it manually. They've streamlined that, and now it's just automatic. I think AI helps them now where it's placed, it's offside, that's it. They've streamlined that, it's quicker. For the most part, it's accurate. And I think next year it'll get better when it comes to the reviewing process, because they're starting to release that audio. I think that'll get better next year as well in terms of like taking their time, like you said, Steve. If it takes 10 minutes, it takes 10 minutes. That's fine. Right? Yeah, you don't want to slow down the game. Yeah, it'll ruin momentum, but wouldn't you rather have the right call? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So,
because titles are won and lost by these decisions.
literally.
Like, you literally, Kyle. Yes. Like,
Yeah.
titles and trophies go to one team or another because of these decisions. And it's not a joke or a game. This is big time business, big stuff.
Not a
Millions and
game.
millions. It's just like, it's not a joke.
It's not
Like,
a
you think
not
about
a game.
You think about the
Sorry.
Rodri handball. That
Oh.
decided a title, Kyle.
No, yeah.
Like, there's
I don't wanna talk
there's
about it.
silverware in another stadium because of that decision.
Yeah.
And even if we lose the league this year, even if we finish third and we finish like 4 points behind, we don't have the trophy because of these decisions. If our dip in form continues and we lose the league by 8 points, 10 points, whatever the case may be, then fine. Right? But like, the fact that we even have to discuss some sort of potential gray area or gap, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but like, calls against other teams, like, I don't care about those. It's the crucial calls in the matches that are decided for the teams at the top of the table that they have to get right. They have to get them all right. But I don't care about any of the other calls than the ones that decide matches for trophies. Because there's probably a team that's going to finish in 11th place this year that should have finished in 10th. But at the end of the day, who cares? But when it's silverware at stake, you have to get it right. And it's not like they can go back and change things.
No, that's another thing. They can't go back and change things, and it just rubs salt in the wound when they're like, "Oh yeah, we missed that call." Like, shut the hell up. Like, it doesn't even matter now. For those of you watching, you guys can see it on the screen. But for those of you listening, we'll make our transition over to the latest transfer news now. I know that there's a lot more important things going on right now than transfers, but things are starting to heat up, especially with Jurgen Klopp's on his way out, and Liverpool need to look into the future. And with Michael Edwards at the helm, you guys can expect some hefty, not hefty, but big moves this summer, I think. I think maybe Michael Edwards has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Maybe not a chip on his shoulder, but like more of a motivation to show what he can do in a higher position. The first link being the 22-year-old defensive midfielder from FC Porto, Alan Varela, I believe he's an Argentinian international. And links earlier this week have suggested that we are in formal talks to sign this guy. We've been scouting him for a very long time. And I think Porto signed him for 8 million euros, which is an incredible steal. And I don't know if he's been there for a year or 2 years, but this is the latest from him. There's also some other things as well. Gyokeres, Victor Gyokeres, playing for Sporting under Ruben Amorim. Apparently, we're being linked with him for 100 mil. Way too much, considering we just spent 80 up to 85 million on Darwin Nunez.
I think
first
that's
off,
for both.
Say that again.
I think that might be for both of them.
Liverpool want to recruit. Oh, yeah. You might be right. Yep, that's a good point. Okay.
If he likes him, he's going to have a say in who he brings, at least for one guy. You'd imagine.
And the Gyokeres, and I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I know the name and I know who he is. Haven't followed him much. But it's suggesting that if we do get Ruben Amorim, we'll likely get a lot of players from Sporting. Gonzalo Inacio is a big name that's being thrown around there because we've been scouting him. And, maybe that's where a lot of these links to Sporting players have been coming from. The fact that we are very involved with the team for Amorim and, trying to get, because it's a talent factory over there, man. There's a lot of these mid-major clubs that play in the Champions League. They're at the top of their domestic leagues that just have so many good players. And I feel like recently we've seen a little bit of dip from Benfica, and you're seeing a lot more talent from Sporting. But again, it'll bounce back. But either way, Gyokeres and Alan Varela, and apparently Varela is up to 60 million pounds. Steve, how are you feeling about that price tag for this guy?
It's a lot. It's a lot
of money for a guy that's that was bought for 8 million.
Well, we just got McAllister for 35.
Right, but McAllister, is not an out-and-out 6. Endo was kind of a stopgap, right? But I love Endo, don't get me wrong, and Endo's got it at least another 5 years professionally in him. But
yeah, I think we'll have Endo for another year or two.
Yeah, it was a 3-year contract, so at least another 2. Sorry, and I kind of cut you off, but good.
Oyvind saying 60 mil. Oh, we got Doug in here. Hey, Doug. Oyvind saying
Doug!
60 mil isn't even that much anymore. You're right, but it's a lot for us, I think. I just think it's rare. 60 million can get you a better player.
Let's just talk about 60 mil. Let's talk about 60 mil. Richard Huttonson, maybe a new one. I don't know. Shout out to Richard. But 60 mil, you're going to be hard pressed to find a player that can perform at the top level for under 50, right? And that's why when Liverpool get those deals done with the Jotas, the Diaz, the Gakpo, the Gravenberch, you're like, wow, that's actually going to end up being a really good deal because of their age and their upside potential. But dude, 60 million now, I think 60 million now was 35 million 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Like it's everyone's value has doubled. When you think about paying for a really good player, I want you to think about this real quick. This is the example that always comes to mind. Do you remember when Tottenham bought Dembele from Lyon? Even if you don't remember, it was a
long time
big
ago.
signing, and I know it was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, right? So that's why I use this example. It was in the 60 millions, okay? Up and coming player, like really, really high price tag. And I think Bruno Fernandes was a little bit longer than that, but same idea. Like top quality player, 60 million. Those players now, those up and coming players, you're not getting them for less than 90 or 100 million. And that's absurd. Like Declan Rice, 107 million or up to 135 million, whatever it is. It's absurd. It's absurd how much things are. So if you can actually get a player for 60 million, it's actually kind of crazy. But let's
Yeah,
look at
but
a
Yogesh
little
says
bit of
it's a star signing for us, and I agree. Like 60 mil, like you have to be ready to walk into the first team. I just don't know if this guy is. You think about the other players we have. Like I'm comfortable
Good
with
point.
Jones in there. Soboslai for the most part, not lately. McAllister, Endo.
Not lately. Yeah.
Like, are we going to spend 60 million and just leave a guy on the bench?
No.
Because that's what I
We
view. That's what I would view him as.
every guy we talk about in terms of transfers, we always bring that up. Like, are you going to spend this much to have him sit on the bench? And we always talk about that. But you see his market value. I think I'm sharing my screen. No, I'm
You're
not.
not.
I'm not. Thanks, Steve. All right. Nope, that's not it either. Let's present. I thought I was sharing my screen the whole time, guys. But I have his player profile up here on Transfer Mark. So his market value right now is at 25 million euros. Okay? So that's just insane. That's absolutely insane that it's 25, but we're rumored to be 60 million. Look at stats here. Came from Boca Juniors to Porto. Let's look at his current season stats. And guys, let us know what you think about this guy. If you know anything about him, if you guys watch the Portuguese league, because I don't. Steve, maybe you don't. Maybe you do. Richard brings
Not
up a
much.
good point. Gravenberch is a bench warmer. That's not it. You're not wrong. All right. So 25 matches played, 2 goals, 3 assists, 7 yellow cards. What else we got? Plays DM and center mid. Why did my thing just stop working? My scroll down thing? No, this is trash. Where's my FB ref, bro? Bring it up. Trash. Transfer marked. Awful. FB ref, baby. There we go. Alan Varela. I think that Varela. Did I say it right?
VAR.
Nope. Wait, what did I? What the hell's his name?
Type in VARELA.
There it is. Okay. Here we go. All right. Stats. Good passer. Defensively, average to below average in terms of tackles. Not a very progressive player, obviously, because he's a defensive mid. But again, all the players we have now, with the exception of Endo, Steve, are progressive players. Even McAllister, right? So,
well, Aylor makes a good point here. He says that I need to know the level and quality of Bajcetic before thinking about investing in another number 6. That's a decent point.
Yeah.
But who knows when we'll see him in a regular cadence again. Look, I don't even care. Bad. I don't even care who we're going to bring in this summer.
There it is. Yeah.
It does. Does it matter right now?
Steve hates no, it doesn't matter right now.
It's like 60 million for this guy. Like if he's good enough, sure, bring him in. We'll see what he's got. 60 million's a lot, but I'm not going to nickel and dime and think about potential spending. We need to win this game today. Like that's all I could think about.
I know.
We need to win it big. We need to win like 5-0. Because if City slips up, we're still level up with Arsenal, but they have a much better goal differential. There's still enough time to close that gap. It could come down to something like that. We need to crush Fulham today. We need to suffocate them. We've suffocated much bigger teams and difficult sides than Fulham. We've suffocated City at times. Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, Munich. Like Fulham is never necessarily an easy win, but we have to make it look easy today if they want us to be optimistic at all for the rest of the season. As far as that guy goes, man, I mean, he looks decent on paper, I guess.
I literally don't know anything about him, bro.
But I don't think Endo can play a full season in that starting role. I don't know if he can. We haven't seen it. He wasn't ready for a while, and then he had a good big a big month or so, 6 weeks maybe, but nobody's mentioned his name since. You think about someone like Declan Rice. Yeah,
Yeah,
super
that's
expensive, but he's there all year, and he's
yeah,
putting in
no.
performances all year.
Declan Rice is nice. Declan Rice is very solid, very good player. Very good player.
Rodri, he's there all year.
Yep.
Puts in a shift every time. That's what Fabinho was for us for a while. We need somebody like that. We need somebody we can set and forget in that position. And I just don't know if he's the guy.
I just love Michael Ramsey. Like, I don't know why. Because he's very negative, but I just love this guy. You know, can't be worse than Rubbish Dom and Rubbish Jones. Now, Jones isn't rubbish. I know you've been saying it for years, as well as and that's what's crazy. He's been here for years. And also Harvey Elliott. But Dom has been trash. We can agree there. The last, like, since he's come back from injury, he has not been what he was at the beginning of the year. And maybe that's why he doesn't start today, bro. I'm seeing rumors of Gravenberch, Endo, and Elliott starting in the midfield. But another new, or at least I believe they're new, Pinto here. Our season is done, lads. Well, look, man, it's not. Mathematically, it's not. We're playing like it's over. But today's a statement game, like Steven was saying. If you can go out today and you win 5-0, very unlikely, but if you can, if you go out today and you win 5-0, even if you win like 2 or 3-0, right? You at least keep a clean sheet. You put some the ball in the back of the net for a change because we haven't been able to do that. And you get 3 points. You get that momentum back. And we don't do well at Craven Cottage. It's all about confidence at this point in the season. You don't have to be the best team, but if a team gets hot, if you can get hot, you can build momentum. You can ride that wave to the end of the season. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. I was just looking at the goal differential, and it's 10 with Arsenal.
Yeah. So we just got to beat them on points, Steve.
Or just start crushing teams. But yeah, give or take, points would be the better way. City's got a game in hand. They're going to have 2 games in hand when Arsenal play next. I think Arsenal play again before City plays. But Craven Cottage is tough, but man, if you want it, you have to win. You have to win big. You have to win big.
You have to win big. And look, Fulham have a great team. I really think people sleep on the quality that they have. They really do have a good team. I mean, you look at Anthony Robinson, you look at Polina, Rodrigo Munez. He's their top goal scorer with 8 goals. D Cordova Reed. Like these players, you say their names, you're like, oh yeah, that guy, he's average. But they have a good team, right? They have a good team. Bernd Leno passes prime, but I think he plays for them now too. But you have to just score. You have to score, dude. You can't have these games where you have 4 expected goals and you put 1 in the back of the net. Okay? And Robertson said it last game. This surprised me when Robertson came out, bro, and he said the guys need to be better in front of goal. That's something that like media training tells you not to say, right? That's almost like a leadership thing. Like Robertson was like, look, I just need to say something. Maybe light a fire under these guys' asses because it's not like they're not getting the chances. Score. Put the ball in the back of the net. Nick here says that players look like they're exhausted. Yeah, but it's just not an excuse. It's just not an excuse. It's probably the truth, but you cannot use it as an excuse. You can't. Let us talk about that. Like the players cannot be exhausted. You have to go out there, and even if you are tired, you keep your head up, you keep sprinting. Look at James freaking Milner. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
I think having Trent back is huge because he looked fresh last match.
He did. He
didn't play outstanding by any means, but he looked fresh. And seeing him dictate things from the middle was promising as well. I think he's going to be a big X factor today. Let him loose. Just let him do whatever he wants. Like, just let the guy loose.
Jesus. Christ. Look, he was playing back in that pivot. I missed it so much.
I didn't realize I missed it,
Yeah, until you see it and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
It's just the way he passes the ball. But Nick says we were cursed after we lost to Man United in the FA Cup. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. I don't want to bring up that too much, but I do want to bring up the fact that not a single one of you has made a Tifo account yet today. All right? Get on over to Tifo, guys. And Michael Ramsey says, I'll never go over there. But seriously, I think it's much better. Not only can you send gifts and you can join the stream on stage, but it's an all-in-one. It's much more user-friendly. And we're trying to grow a community over there. And right now, we're at the highest retention rate, but we're at the smallest community. So I want us to grow our community and really show the world, like, hey, Nothing But Reds is a good community. So go on over there. I put the link in the chat. I'll post it again and use the referral code Kyle in all caps to create your account. Completely free, by the way. Completely free. It just shows your support for the channel. And we're doing a watch along today for Fulham. We'll be over there. So if you do want to join us, go and create that Tifo account right now, guys. Steve, going into the match today, we'll chat about this to close out the show. Fulham, okay? What are they, 10th in the table?
12th.
12th. Oh, God, we need a win. We need a win so bad. 12th in the
Crystal
table.
Palace only had 7 wins, by the way, when they beat us.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah. Fulham. God, dude. All right, Fulham today. I want to just see a predicted 11 because what I'm seeing is Gravenberch, Endo, and Elliott in the midfield. If that were to be the starting midfield, Steve, and chat as well, how do you feel about that?
We lose.
Oh God, dude!
Nobody. You gotta put out your strongest 11 again. I don't care who's in good form or bad form. At least for the first half, you got to put out a very, very strong 11 and see what happens. Because eventually, it's going to click. Right? We're not going to play like shit the rest of the year. It's impossible. We always turn it on towards the end of the year. I think you got to play. You got to play your strongest, if not very close to your strongest 11 today. If that's the midfield, that's concerning. That's showing no respect to Fulham.
Well,
Endo, Gravenberch, and Elliott.
Dude, it's not even that. Real quick, I just want to address this from Richard. Richard, thanks for being here, but no.
Nope.
Solanke, I know Solanke's good, but no, we had him. See you later. It's not a respect to Fulham thing. It's just like, why are you rotating? Have you given up? Gravenberch, Elliott, and Endo?
Like, I feel like you can drop a certain player for like some rest or because of bad form, but you cannot revamp the whole lineup today. You cannot do that.
No. And McAllister needs to play. He's your one player that's just been on fire. And in a time where you need a win, how are you not playing McAllister? Like, all right, I could see this. I could see Endo, McAllister, Gravenberch, or Endo, McAllister, Elliott. That was my prediction. Endo, McAllister, Elliott. Okay? Elliott, for me, has been very consistent. But Gravenberch, I don't know. I think the reason he wants to start Gravenberch is just because he wants to get him minutes, so get the kid some burn. But
well, we don't know if it's happening. Lineups will be out in a half hour, give or take.
A lot of the predictions, yeah.
I would be very surprised.
Now I'm seeing, we saw the links with Diaz to Barcelona for 75 mil. Now it's all over Twitter that apparently he wants to join Barcelona. Dude, that's the thing with these transfers. First, it's they want to stay, then it's a new contract, and then they want to join the club. So we'll keep that. Oyvind, thanks for keeping us grounded. What happened to In Klopp We Trust? Let me take this one first. It's not that I don't trust Klopp. But I'm just thinking the situation we find ourselves in with the recent form, right? Under Klopp, how often have we had instances, Stephen? This isn't rhetorical. I'm genuinely asking you. How many times have we had periods where you're actually questioning, like okay, we can't rotate the squad today without a severe drop-off in form or risking losing?
I'd say pretty often.
Would you? Okay, pretty often. I feel like it's been 2 or 3 times where I've been like, because a lot of times it's just injuries and we have to play these guys. But when everyone's healthy and you're in a Premier League title race, literally in a title race where every point at this matters and every point for the last 5 matches has mattered, I don't rotate. You're out of every other competition. Don't rotate. You only have 6 games left, right? 6, 7. Do not rotate. Play your best 11 every match. To me, that's the only option. And at least if you play your best 11 and you can go out saying, all right, I played my best 11. Now, the counter argument to that, Oyvind, is maybe your best 11 aren't in the best form, which currently is probably the argument. So maybe that's why the heavy rotation. I mean, that's heavy rotation. That's every player. And if the truth is that we're benching Darwin and Salah, which I don't know how that's going to happen, but if it does, that's a statement from Klopp. That's saying, all right, this team isn't working. I'm legit changing everything, bro.
I just hope that doesn't happen.
Thanks
no
for the
rotation,
input.
please. Please, no rotation.
The
There's not
problem
much
is
rotation.
the problem is our best 11 is not in good form, and that's why we're seeing these predicted 11s with Darwin and Salah benched. You don't bench Salah. You can bench Darwin all you want. Salah's your best player.
Yeah.
You gotta play him.
But we've seen it before. If he does bench him, because he's taking him off too. He's subbing him out quite a bit. If he doesn't play him today, that's a big statement.
That is a big statement.
If he doesn't start him today, I would lean towards Salah's gone in the summer. Because you know how important it is to Salah to play. And you know how much he hates being taken off. But if he's not playing today, if he's not starting, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him leave in the summer. I think that might be the final straw for him.
That's a crazy jump right there to go from he's not starting today to he's leaving in the summer.
Yeah, I know it might seem a little aggressive, but I've just noticed these little things that I think are discouraging Mohamed Salah. One, his form, injury, being taken off in important matches, not matches where you're up 3-0. Like, still a lot to play for. Taken off against Atalanta. Like, I think Mo Salah takes all these moments and banks them. If he doesn't play today, like, that's a big statement, and I just wouldn't be surprised if
you think he's that grudgeful, if that's even a word?
I just think he's that big of a star.
Yeah, I guess.
He'd never come out in the media and be salty or anything like that, but he's big enough where he deserves to play.
Well, real quick, I want to ask you a question, but first, Douglas James, I'm a Liverpool FC fan. The only way forward for us to ask FSG to sell up now. The problem is we will have streams from the top FSG out forever. All right. Great. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. A little, read the room a little bit, but all right. I guess FSG out, guys. We're back on that train. So, Steve, who's your best starting 11 right now? Who is the best starting 11 on the team?
Right now, it's Allison, Robertson, Van Dijk, Konate, Trent, McAllister, Endo, Jones.
Yep.
Like, as in today, Jota, Diaz. I can't put Gakpo in there, dude. I mean, probably Gakpo, but I would
You
say
forgot Salah.
I would say Salah, but he's been on shit form.
No.
That's why. But because of his star power, I will put him in there at right.
No. Best 11, not who you're starting today, not predicted 11. So best 11
in terms of form right now.
Let's say
it would be Gakpo and Jota and Diaz.
Okay. So you did it based on form. Okay. So I agree wholeheartedly with backline midfield, wholeheartedly. The front is where my biggest issue is because no one's finishing. So in that sense, I got to go Jota. I got to go Jota, okay? Because Jota, when he plays, the 2 months a year he's healthy, he just bags goals, man. He's so good. And then, dude, I got to go Darwin Salah. You know, Darwin hasn't been great recently. He really has not been great recently at all. But I still got to go Darwin. You look at his stats, the guy still produces. That's where I'm at. Guys, what do you guys think? Hannah, what's up? Yeah, FSG out because we lost 2 games. It's unreal. The FSG out, they've been so quiet. But I guarantee if something like we blow something, watch. If we lose today, watch them come out. They'll be here.
FSG has nothing to do with this season.
Literally
we have all
nothing.
the players we need. We have all the players we need.
It's unreal.
It's not about spending or any of that crap. We have everybody we need.
But, yeah, you guys let us know, of course. Max says, I haven't seen FSG out in months. That's what I'm saying. Yogesh says Diaz, Salah, or Diaz, Jota, Salah. I can get behind that one, too. I can get behind that. Diaz and Darwin, for me, very, very, very close. Very close. But guys, leave your score predictions in the chat. Steve, what is your starting 11 prediction for today? Not best 11, starting prediction for today. Who starts?
Endo, McAllister, Elliott in the midfield. Back 4, Konate, Van Dijk, Trent, Robbo, Allison in goal. And then I'm going to go Jota, Diaz, Salah.
Jota, Diaz, Salah. I like that. Honestly, I like that front line a lot. I think I'm going to... You said Jones, McAllister, and Endo, right?
No, Elliott in for Jones.
Okay, I can get behind that. I think I'm going to go that as well. I think I'm going to go Elliott, McAllister, Jones, same back line, same front 3. I didn't predict that for our channel members. If you watch my starting 11 prediction show, I predicted, I think Darwin would start. Darwin, Jota on the left, and then Salah on the right. That's my starting 11 prediction. Oyvind here. Michael says Fulham 7-0. Jesus. Oyvind says Ali, Robbo, Konate, Van Dijk, Trent, Graven, Endo, Mac, Diaz, Jota, Elliott. Jesus. Okay. Heavy rotation. Max, Gakpo, Jota, Diaz. Bonkers here says Ali, Gomez, McAllister, Soboslai, Diaz, Jota. Yep. A lot of rotation today, guys. But again, appreciate all your support as always. And guys, if you want to show your support, you can always become a channel member. And also, you have the option to donate as well if you like what we're doing here. But more importantly, right now, go create an account on Tifo and join us for the watch along today. We'll be going live about 15 or 20 minutes before the show because I want to see a lot of you guys come up on the stream beforehand, share your thoughts before we actually start the match. So go and create your account on Tifo. I'm going to post the link in the chat right now. And of course, use the referral code Kyle in all caps. It's completely free. Let's grow the community over there. Steve, do you have any closing thoughts, my man? I know you got to go.
No, I don't. I think we'll win today. I just hope it's comfortably. 4-0.
4-0. I like that confidence, man.
It's the last time I'm going to be confident this season if they don't win comfortably. This is the last.
If they don't pull it out,
yeah, it's the last one.
Oh my God, crazy. Well, Steve, I appreciate you being here, guys. Thank you so much for all your support. We'll be on the lookout for you guys over on Tifo, and until then, Reds, take care.